Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're going to learn how to paint this beautiful infinite rolling mountains illustration entirely done in Procreate. I'm going to take you through the steps from start to finish so that you can learn tips and tricks in Procreate at the same time that you can practice your skills in digital illustration. We're going to learn how to make these hollow trees with texture effects in Procreate, how to shade the mountains with rim light effects, and how to draw very smooth lines from all the rolling hills. Also, just letting you know that I've started a Patreon community and this video is the first video tutorial on the list. So if you'd like to learn from an extended version and slower version of this tutorial, getting all the exercise files, color swatches, brushes that we have used in this lesson, make sure to check the link in the description box of this video. Plus, by becoming a patron, you can receive bonus materials such as my favorite top 20 plus brush pack, my top 10 color palettes, free access to my Skillshare class Procreate Essentials The Ultimate Guide, which is a video guide with more than 4 hours in content, and more. So if you'd like to extend your knowledge in Procreate and practice further your skills, the link will be in the description box of this video. So now let's get started. Starting at the gallery section here in Procreate, we're going to create a portrait screen size file. On my iPad, that is 2048 width by 2732 in height in pixels. We are also setting this file at 300 dpi and using RGB with an sRGB as for the color space. Tap Create and let's dive into this new canvas. Next, let's head up to the Actions menu, then tap Canvas, and on the Canvas subsection, let's turn on Drawing Guide. Then let's tap on Edit Drawing Guide and set the right size for our 2D grid. We're going to use a cell size of 265 pixels. Then set the color and opacity of the grid to your preference. For the colors used in this illustration, we're going with this minimal color palette right here. Please pause the video at this right moment and take a screenshot if necessary. So let's start with the sketch section of our drawing. Find your favorite default sketching brush in Procreate, set a dark color, and let's draw a circle, a small circle, at the top left corner section of the canvas. Now let's move the circle to just sit at the bottom of the second square from the top, and also set it just over a bit inside the second square on the left. Now let's duplicate this circle and move it to the opposite direction on the right side of the canvas. Pinch the two layers and duplicate it again in order to move the two circles now all the way to the bottom of the composition, sitting just above the second grid square from the bottom. Merge the two layers once again and we now have all the 4 small circles in one layer. Next, let's draw some connecting lines on the tangents of these circles in order to create our rounded rectangle frame. Make sure to use the Edit Shape feature to reposition the bezier points of each line that you draw in order to fall perfectly at the edges of the circles. Lastly, using the Eraser tool with a monoline brush, let's delete all the unwanted lines that fall inside the shape. Now let's tap on our sketch brush and in the stroke path settings, let's set the streamline setting to maximum. And that is so we can get some really nice curvy hills from our brush strokes. From about 1/4 of the way up on the 4th cell starting from the bottom of the canvas, create the first curvy hill, going all the way to the right side. From 2 cells to the right, draw an opposite curvy hill that goes all the way up to the next cell. Now from about 1/5 of the way up on the cell number 6, starting from the bottom of the canvas, create the 3rd curvy hill. Repeat this step on a cell up to draw the 4th curvy hill. And just like the first couple steps, draw an opposite curvy hill starting at 1 cell to the right to create another curvy mountain. Lastly, from about 1/3 of the way down, from the 5th cell starting from the top, draw the last curvy hill, just as you see here in the video. Make sure to go back to this step here in this video, play it at half speed if you need to move through this section a little slower. Next, let's draw the cloud shapes, which we can create by drawing 2 arcs, starting from the 3rd cell down from the top of our frame, composed by a smaller arc and then followed by a bigger arc. Next, we are going to draw a sun at the top left section of the frame, followed by 2 rings representing the sun rays. Finish up the top of the illustration section by drawing 3 small birds, all made with thin triangle sides. Now, back at the bottom right section of the canvas, let's draw a little geometric house with a small vertical window sitting at the front of the house. Then for the trees, create a bigger circle at the very top, followed by 2 smaller circles at the bottom on each side. Use arcs to connect on each side and a horizontal line to close everything at the bottom. This is the overall shape of the body of the tree. Next, draw a vertical line as for the tree trunk, together with a small diagonal line representing the branch. Repeat these steps a few more times in order to populate the landscape with other trees. As you see here in the illustration, I got about 4 to 5 trees, and make sure to vary their sizes to create the feeling of depth in the picture. For the last tree, it should sit on the right side of the picture as a combination of 2 smaller circles, followed by a bigger one in the middle. Connect the circles with a vertical line at the left edge side and clean all the unwanted lines inside. Finish up by drawing 3 vertical lines at the center of each arc, representing the tree branches. Add a couple diagonal lines, and we have just finished the sketch section for our illustration. Now in the brush panel, it is time to find your favorite monoline brush or studio pen and tap on that brush as well to edit its settings. In the stroke path section, let's also increase the streamline function to maximum. This will ensure that our ink lines and fills will follow the smooth lines that we have set up at the sketching stage. Now, starting from the first color in the left side of the color swatch, let's draw the outline of each curvy mountain. Use the first color, which is the teal color, to draw the bottom mountain, and keep moving, selecting the next color for all the following mountains from the bottom up. Make sure to bleed the mountains on each side because we're going to draw the frame as a mask on the very top of everything at the very end of this video. Once you finish a shape, make sure to drop the same color inside each shape using the color drag feature. Repeat these steps until you have all of the hills completed. Now, using the next shade of color, which is the mid-orange color tone, use it for the clouds. Next, create a new layer, and using the second color from the right here from the color palette, fill the whole layer in order to paint the sky color that we see. Use the brightest value to paint the sun element, but make sure to break down into layers with 60% and 40% opacity for the outer rings. Now, using the darkest purple color, fill in the shapes for the birds. Now, back at the bottom of the illustration, use the same purple to draw the facade of the house, the front of the house. A bright orange color for the roof, and a light purple color for the sidewall. Finish the house by using the brightest color on the window section. For the trees, make sure to use a mix of the dark and bright purple values, making sure that the big group of trees that's located on the right side of the picture stay with the darkest purple color. Also, make sure to separate all the 3 leaves from the tree trunks as separate layers in your file. Next up, we have shading, and this is where things really start to get interesting here. Using your favorite noise brush, which you can find also in the touch-up section in the Procreate brush library, create a layer on top of each mountain. Set those layers as clipping mask of each hill, and set the blending mode of each layer that you've created as soft light, using the opacity for the first one at 100%. Now paint each hill from the bottom up with the noise brush using a black color, leaving just the top section without any texture, creating this really nice effect as if the sun is illuminating just the top of each hill. If you by any mistake go too far up painting, make sure to use the same noise brush, but now as an eraser in order to get the effect feeling just right. For all the other clipping mask layers that you set it as soft light on the hills that are not the green hill, make sure to set their opacity to about 60%. For the hollow textural look of the trees, tap on each tree leaves layer and then select the option Mask. And now, using the same noise brush that we've been using to texture all the hills and a pure black color, set the brush size to a smaller area that is just enough to be able to paint inside each tree, creating this hollow masking effect. Once again, if you do go too far, just paint the outside of the area with white, with pure white, and you will be once again filling up that layer back with color. Lastly, create a new layer, and using the same color that we have used to paint the sun layers and the technique used to create the rounded rectangle in the sketch phase, create a round rectangle, but this time with the monoline brush. Delete the inside lines and use a color drop to fill in all of the space on the outside of the frame. This creates a mask neatly hiding any unwanted graphics that are spilling on the outer edges of the frame. And that's it. You have just finished this illustration, and I hope that you have learned a few tricks along the way. So really, that's it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, a like would be super appreciated, as well as make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of these speed paint videos and all the training that makes you a better illustrator every day. Now on the right side of this video, there's more content for you guys to watch. One is my latest upload, and the other one is a video that YouTube's recommending you to check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.